What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to another edition of the Tuffy Talk Live Show, baby. We appreciate y'all tuning in here with us. You got myself, Leighton Smith, Ken's Blackwell, and Greg Legg here with us again, once coming in and tuning in once again. So, as always, y'all, if you've been here for, you know the drill. But just as a reminder, again, if you haven't already, just again, any comments, thoughts, questions that you have, send them in the comments, or at the very least, just let us know who's here. Just give us a shout out, what's going on, anything like that, anything you got. Let's make it happen, y'all. So, but with that being said, we'll jump right to it. And Macon's back right now, but we'll get him in here in a second.
He'll be back in black here in a second.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on him, and whenever his camera's rolling, we'll bring him back in here. But appreciate all y'all tuning in. This is definitely gonna be a crazy one. Nick, Matt's already in here. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well, doing awesome. Ken's, Greg, y'all doing good?
Heck yeah.
It's been a rough weekend, but we're back and ready to get it going this week. So let's go.
That's right. I love it. Love it.
Hell Carolina week. Best
yeah. Colby says watching Tuffy Talk and beating Call of Duty at the same time. Hey, that's a good combo right there, Colby. Good for you, man. It looks like we got Macon in. Macon, you got us?
Yeah, man. Camera issues is all it was.
You're still beautiful.
Yeah,
just a little bit not as pixelated.
Yeah, exactly. It's all good. So before we jump into kind of reviewing, this past weekend, one thing which I thought about is, you know what, I miss a certain transition, video that we haven't used in quite a long time. So with that being said, let's roll into Tuffy's Weekly Rewind. Boom shakalaka. So yeah, I've definitely missed that. Haven't done that transition in quite some time, so thought we'd bring it back in. But jumping right into it, I think it was a weekend with a good bit of, not to say bad, but just disappointing, for sure. Kind of diving right into it. Man, what sport should we talk about first? I mean, any sport or any event that y'all are just cranking to talk about?
Let's go with Caitlin Tuohy, another record. We want to go there?
Absolutely. Go, Greg.
Yeah. New 3K record of, what was it, 8:35 and some change? 8:36 and some change. I know she beat it by 5 or 6 seconds. So yeah, she didn't just beat it, she crushed it. Like 5-6 seconds in the track world is probably an eternity. I don't know. I obviously, looking at my physique, I've never probably ran very much. But I'm sure it's pretty good. So
yeah, for sure. Again, just add another feather to the cap for Caitlin Tuohy's already incredible career at NC State, for sure. Ken's, anything you were adding to it?
I mean, I don't really know what else to add to it. I mean, she's a beast. I mean, we're gonna see her do some big things, and I mean, she's only a sophomore, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's still got 2 more years left. Yeah, she's still got 2 more years left.
I think I need her autograph.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think I need her autograph. Yeah, she may be the one and only track star that I ever get an autograph from, but I need her autograph.
That's true. I agree.
I've got some good pictures and photographs and autographs, and that's one to have. I would definitely put that one on the mantle for sure.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, she's in a class of her own.
Yeah, for sure. Completely agree with that. And Logan says, let's go. Pumped to be back. Glad to have you back, Logan. I appreciate you tuning in, man. And but yeah, so definitely, definitely got to start off giving shout out to Caitlin Tuohy, just keeping on doing her thing. Keep on doing that thing, for sure. So I guess kind of jumping right into it, we'll kind of start off with some of the bad and then kind of work into the good a little bit, maybe, start on a low note, end on a high note. So obviously, I feel like, to me, the first thing that comes to my mind is talking a little bit about women's basketball. I know nobody wants to talk about it right now. It's an enigma, to say the least. I would have never bet in a million years that if you would have come to me and said that we would have had this many losses and be playing this dysfunctionally before the season, I would have said you're crazy. Like, there's no way. It's just non-existent. Like, Westmore doesn't have teams like that. And it's just, to me, so first thing I'll say, good, is that I think defense is not the problem, in my opinion. But it's just more of the offense, the fact that just like last night, finally Jakia Brown-Turner and Jada Boyd were actually somewhat productive, but nobody else around them was productive. Diamond Johnson only had 2 points, and we were shooting terribly from the three, and just still
they kind of remind me of our guys team last year. It's like when our best player is off, the rest of the team's on. When our one player's on, the rest of the team's off. So it's like they all have to figure out how to mesh that together if we want to. I mean, but like you said, Westmore, this is rare. I don't think this is going to start being a trend at all. So, I mean, you just lost some of the best players last year. So
believe it or not, I don't think Westmore was great before this season. I think he had full black hair, and no, I joke. I have no doubt this is probably the most maddening season of his, at least his NC State tenure.
Sure.
It might be of his career. I don't know. I haven't followed him, but previously before he got to state. The one thing, I think the one word that would sum up this season, and there's a couple of them, I would just say inconsistency. This is a team that has beat Iowa and Notre Dame and has lost to Virginia and Florida State.
Boston College,
some teams. Boston College, that was the one I was really thinking of.
Which is the worst part.
But yeah, I mean, this is a UVA team that had lost 7 straight and only won 3 conference games going into this, and then vice versa with Boston College won 3 conference games when we lost to them. So it just make any sense. Like, that saying, help me make it make sense. And that's what I feel right now. And I think you both summed it up where, we have production and then we don't have production. And it's that secondary and third level scoring consistently in the same games.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. And I mean, the thing that stands out to me is, once again, it's hilarious to me how much, like, it seems like it was a consistent thing where I'd be like, where's Jada Boyd? Where's Jakia Brown-Turner? And then here we are. They finally showed up, but literally, I mean, again, Diamond Johnson had 5 points, but shot 1 for 12. And then Sanaya Rivers had 3 points, shot 1 for 9. And then even Isaiah James, who at least had 8 points, which was the only other person besides JBT and Boyd to have more than 5 points, she still shot 3 for 10 to get those 8 points. So again, it's just I
mean, yeah, I feel like it's something else going on. I mean, you've had people transfer midseason. I haven't seen that before. So I feel like it's not that they're playing bad. I just think that they aren't flowing as a team, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like they're playing for themselves and not playing with each other right now. And I mean, that's obviously going to cause a lot of problems during the season. But I'm hoping they can figure it out before the ACC tournament. Because, I mean, hey, we can just make a run in the ACC tournament, win that, get another one of those. I mean.
Well,
right now we're sitting 8th.
Right. Well, I bought tickets for the entire ACC women's tournament, so I hope that we can turn it around and get my money's worth out of it. So, Macon, go ahead, man.
I'm just looking here. I mean, the state relies so heavily on 2 things: on that center position and their 3-point shooting. And Jada Boyd had a big game against Virginia, but if you look over like the last 3 games, and I'm kind of even trying to go back to before then, or the last 3 games, State is on the 3-point line is 13 for 52.
Golly.
And that's terrible. That's an average of 25% over 3 games. And they were 0 for 10 against Wake Forest. And they still won that game. Wake's not a very good women's basketball team. I would not say that, but I wouldn't think they are necessarily a good one. But State shot 14% against Virginia and 29%, which is more respectable against Georgia Tech. But that's just not getting it done. And when you're having struggles with Jada Boyd and, I don't know what Camille Hobby really did against Virginia. I'm trying to go back and look it up, but I don't think she did a whole lot. Could be wrong. Let me see here. She had 2 points in 18 minutes. So, I mean, like, just your 2 biggest keys as to why. Your 2 biggest reasons of what makes NC State go offensively, they're just not – it's not gelling. And I think you're putting people in positions that they are not – maybe they're just not ready to do that, and they need more an all-star. And maybe they're Camille Hobby's a great player. Is she Elisa Cunane? No. I'm not saying to compare her to that, but I am saying that maybe Camille Hobby's not like a all-star center, and maybe we have some shooters on our team that are just not matured enough to where they need to be yet offensively. So State's had so much success over the last few years. This one down season is not going to ruin it for me, but it's not cool. It's not fun. And I don't really know what's going on. And you would think Coach Moore would have an answer to it, but it's, if he's not able to get this going, then it's kind of like, well, if he's not able to figure it out, then I don't know who would be able to figure it out. So,
yeah.
The one last thing I'll kind of say, and I think we've kind of said it a couple of times, is you've got these, fifth year seniors on the team that the last couple of years they've been role players, and when they've been elevated to a starting position, they didn't carry the same amount of weight, if you will, with that progression. You look at Camille, I mean, she's up 3.5 points a game over last year, which is good, but that's probably 6 or 7 points still lower than what Cunane was giving you last year. I would say Cunane was around 15, 18 points. I don't have it in front of me, but just kind of going off memory. So if she's at 16, 17 points, that's 7-8 points a game that you're not getting from that position. And you can take that into other positions as well. So, you start taking 4 or 5 points from this position, 4 or 5 points, you're looking at 10 to 15 points less. And when you're just not making it up in other areas, that's a recipe for more losses, unfortunately.
Yeah. And if you're looking at the roster, not the transfers, obviously, but like the rest of the team, they haven't had to go through this like season where they've lost more than 3 games in a season. So I feel like that definitely is causing confidence issues as well too, though. So,
and I think the other thing too is, when you look at a team, when you're winning, nothing else, everything else is all good. Like, you don't
look at the issues.
Right. Or, when you're winning and you're not put through that adversity, you don't know how people are going to react when they're in that situation where, hey, it's a little tougher than it used to be. Like the ACC is not rolling over for us because we have NC State on the front of our chest.
Right.
Like, they're just not. So
heck, they're probably getting payback from the last 3 years or so, right?
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, right. It's
Sure.
like now that they smell blood in the water, and so they're not letting up.
And I'm adding this too. Like State, it's not like State's been just abysmal, right? They're like fringe top 25 team. So like they've lost 3 out of 4, but they won them 3 games in a row. For that against Miami, Louisville, and Notre Dame, 3 of the best programs in the ACC, if not the country. So we're just talking like there's a stretch they're having here where they're not really struggling. And heck, they had just before that they lost 3 out of 4 to Boston College.
I said inconsistency.
UNC. So it's just, and that to me just comes to me about. I use the word maturity. I think there's some stuff there that these girls are going to have to grow into. I guess they're big shoes to fill, and you don't want to put pressure on them. But I think they do feel some pressure, and I think that's probably getting in their heads a little bit.
Right.
Well, but again, unfortunately, y'all, we only have 4 games left in the regular season to figure it out. So, I mean, it's like,
yeah, I mean,
and we're still a top 25 team playing UNC coming up, right? So,
I didn't see does the women's poll come out on Tuesdays or Mondays?
Listen, if we're top 25 still, then dude.
Well, I didn't realize the poll's didn't come out yet, so that
right. That's what I'm saying, but they come out on Tuesdays
today
for women. I thought it was Monday too. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It still says 22. No, we're unranked. I refreshed.
Yeah,
I refreshed.
I'm sorry.
We should have been unranked after last week, in my opinion. Anyway, I mean, losing to Georgia Tech and then losing to Virginia Tech. How did we get ranked even still after losing both those games? I don't know. So, and again, unfortunately, too, now you got a kind of a put up or shut up moment facing UNC Thursday night.
It's not getting any easier.
No, it's not getting easier. And then you go to Virginia Tech, you go at Duke, and then you play Pitt at home and senior night. It's like this could easily turn south quickly, very quickly, like even more south.
Honestly, I'm definitely not rooting against it. We could potentially only win one more regular season game. It's
usually not win any. Yeah.
Easily. Well, Pitt, I think Pitt will be favored in.
We just lost to 3-11 Virginia. But I hear you though. But, I mean,
Pitt's the worst team in the conference. Like,
I know.
Like, we should be favored over them at least.
Oh, I know. But again, I mean, we're all on the same page here. Where it's just like, this team can beat a lot of teams. I wouldn't say
anybody. No, minus South Carolina probably.
South Carolina,
they're in a league of their own right now. So
like it's dumb. But like literally South Carolina and LSU played on Sunday night, and literally South Carolina was favored by 12 and a half going into that game, and they were both undefeated. Like, that should tell you all you need to know about South Carolina. So,
and they won by 22? Like it was,
they
it wasn't
crushed
even
LSU.
close. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
even close.
So to me, it's like, all right, well, just go ahead and give the trophy to South Carolina. There ain't no way they're losing. So anyway, jumping on over now, again, just kind of touch on a couple other things. So obviously got to touch on softball a little bit here. Just spend a couple seconds on them. I mean, obviously, this weekend they played 5 games against 3 different teams, 2 against Kansas, 2 against Arizona, and 1 against Long Beach State. Lost every one of them, and most of them were in pretty convincing fashion for sure. So definitely not what we wanted to see coming, out of the first weekend for sure. Now coming into this weekend, they, come back home, playing the ACC Big Ten Challenge against Iowa and Purdue. So, the only thing I can really say to this is, obviously it's the first weekend, and obviously we lost a lot of players from last season too. So, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with kind of figuring out the rotation, figuring out, who we're going to be relying on this season. But, I'm definitely, hopefully this,
You're bullish.
Here we are again, where it's like ECU football all over again going, is this a story or is it just a fluke? Like, I don't know, but I guess only time will tell. So,
yeah, but when you're playing Arizona, I mean, they're one of the best programs. I don't know what they're ranked this year, but they're usually a top 10
15.
team.
Yeah,
they're pretty solid. So, yeah, no, again, it's just like played 5, didn't even get one of them, which, I mean, softball is a lot of just things going your way, especially since it's so, I mean, again, it can only be 7 innings, but it can be as short as 5 innings. So, I mean, just a couple of at-bats or 1 inning goes your way and you can win. You can find a game to win. Mm-hmm. So to not find 1 game to win in 5 was, not what you wanted to see. But, we'll just kind of leave it at that. Still early. We'll see what happens there.
Also, just a quick bow on that. Anyone that's interested, all of the games this weekend are free for the women's softball. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend, weather is supposed to be somewhat decent on Friday and I believe Sunday. Saturday is going to be a little cold, but get out there and go get some free entertainment.
Absolutely. The other thing, which I'll give got to give a shout out to from this weekend, is NC State wrestling. Got to give a huge shout out there. Definitely a very convincing performance this weekend over number 16 Pitt, who is a very underrated 16 Pitt for sure. I don't know how they're 16. I mean, they crushed Virginia Tech Souls and
38-3 or something like that.
Yeah, they killed them.
Well, I think it was like by 14 points or something like that. But I mean, still, it was pretty convincingly. And so for us to win by, I think it was like 23-9, so by 14 points.
Yep.
I think it says a lot, and definitely a couple of big upsets. Owen Trayvon, our heavyweight,
that was a good one.
Looks like the real deal. So again, it's wrestling goes to UNC to Carmichael Friday night, 7 p.m. So we'll talk about this huge upcoming weekend we have here in a second, but definitely just want to give a shout out to wrestling.
Yeah, real quick on that, because I know now, like, we lost to Tech, who Pitt beat, and then we beat Pitt. So we all have 1 loss in the conference. What's the tiebreaker scenario for that for like a regular season? Is it just a
head-to-head?
But again, it's the love triangle. So
is it?
Well, yeah, because
that's a good question.
Yeah, I just don't know how that works. I don't know enough.
Is
about
it better overall record?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It probably is.
See, believe it or not, we haven't had one.
They count up penalties. They count up penalties the whole year, and then they
right.
Yeah. Well, 2 things. One, first thing is that what was I going to say? First of all, we haven't really had a situation where we've had a 3-way tie because there's been nobody competing against Virginia Tech and us over the last 5, 6, 7 years, whatever. But also on top of it, I've literally been actually Googling where to find like ACC wrestling rankings, and they don't exist. I've tried to find them. At least as far as I can know, they don't exist. So, I mean, you pretty much have to know where things stand. I don't know exactly, but I mean, just got to do what we can, got to control what we can control. Go ahead, Greg.
No, I was just curious how that all worked out because, again,
no clue.
I knew that was something I was tracking watching Friday, and they didn't really talk about it on the broadcast. So I was like, all right, well, how is this going to play out? And I don't know. I mean, obviously for seeding purposes, it doesn't really matter because it's about rankings, in your weight class and all of that. And, which is again, weird because you could be ranked higher, though you lost to the guy in regular season. Like, again, I don't understand all of that. I just watch it and enjoy it for what it is. But just was curious.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Go ahead, Megan. What you got?
Check NCAA Wrestling's Twitter account. They got rankings there
For conferences or for
national.
Oh yeah, no, they have the ranking, the polls.
I'm talking like standings, like ACC conference standings, like what each ACC team has record wise.
Yeah,
yeah. Literally, like there's if you look it up, there's stuff from like 2018, but nothing recent.
Have we looked at theacc.com? Have we looked at?
Yeah, I was just about to look at that.
I tried to look that too, but again, if y'all find it, then more power to you for sure.
Standings right now.
Yeah. Because maybe like they would even talk, because I know like they talk about tiebreakers for. Does it have tiebreaker? Like, does it?
It has a little thing on here. It talks about so NC State, Virginia Tech, Pitt are, I guess, tied for first place.
Correct. Yep.
They, it looks like they're tied for first because they have the win-loss record. Now State has more points for and less points against them. They're 2-0 at home and 1-1 on the road. I don't know how that really falls into it, but I imagine this is in order. So you've got NC State, Virginia Tech, Pitt, and then UNC, and then Virginia Tech and Duke. I imagine that is the order.
It would make
sense.
Okay.
Because it has it in wins, losses, and it kind of goes from highest to lowest. So NC State, Virginia Tech, Pitt looks like tied for first, but NC State is in the one spot of that. So
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like once we lost Virginia Tech, I was kind of not okay. I'm going to say okay, more because of the fact that
it just made it more difficult.
Well, typically, I mean, whenever we've hosted the ACC, the NC State Virginia Tech duel, we've won. Whenever they've hosted it, they've won. Like, it's just like I mean, we're two of the most, of the
powerhouses of the ACC.
Of the powerhouses of the ACC and nationally. So it's like, listen, I'm not really going to sweat too much else too, because I honestly get a lot more, enjoyment kind of out of the tournament style, especially since it's going to be a Reynolds this year. So I'm looking forward to that. But one quick thing, got to give a shout out here. Got to talk about this. So Miami is up by 9 right now against UNC, and Baycott has 4 fouls with 10 minutes left.
They're doing that because he won't have a single one against us on Sunday.
And
they're making up for it now.
They are like Twitter. People are blowing up saying that UNC fans are so mad at fouls right now.
Yeah,
like, I do not feel bad for you.
Right?
You know what's funny? They're complaining about fouls. They're literally tied with fouls in Miami.
Right.
It's
12 and 12.
12 and 12 right now. And they're complaining about fouls. This is ridiculous.
But the refs are already making up for what they're about to pull. And I already know it. And
they both have attempted 10 free throws exactly. So they have the same amount of fouls,
not enough
free throw attempts.
Not enough.
So, I know UNC can't win a game unless they have at least 20 more free throw attempts than the other team. I'm telling you,
they're usually up not by 9 right now.
Right. So I'm telling you that. I mean,
I was going to say, this is one of those games where we kind of want Carolina to win, but we're not rooting for them.
No. I want to beat them I want to kick them.
No.
I want to drop kick them when they're sitting down. Like, I want them hurting.
No, I totally get that. I'm being selfish for the ACC tournament and double bye.
I got you.
I don't mind Carolina losing if it means us going down. So. If it means
right?
Not losing,
no, I get that too. But that's why I said. But I was like, that's what I said. I was like,
technically, it would be advantageous, but I can't even finish a sentence to say it for them to win. I can't even get.
No, that's why I was like,
positives and negatives.
I was like a stroke victim. So anyway,
Cam Metcalf, what's going on? Appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, so kind of talk about men's basketball obviously now. So we did watch party for the UVA game, and then which to me, I felt like I wasn't necessarily disappointed coming out of that game. And I know Macon, Greg, you guys weren't a part of the watch party. It was me, Ken's, and Michael. So I mentioned y'all's thoughts, but to me,
10 seconds behind us the entire game.
I know it's okay. Streaming, it's never going to be perfect, but it's okay. But like, I feel like, especially, from what we've seen this season, especially over the last couple of weeks, you watch that Virginia game and then you watch what we did against Boston College. So to me, I'm saying I'm not really putting much stock into that Virginia game. Really, I mean, it was a road game against a really good Virginia team right now. And obviously Jarkel being
He's back.
he was he wasn't at the time,
back.
but he came back against Boston College.
Crushed it.
Just hurt as well. But Greg, I'm curious y'all's thoughts, man, on specifically the Virginia Boston College games.
Go ahead, Megan.
So Virginia, I thought, it's a top 10 team on the road. And their specialty is defense. I actually thought State had an advantage going into this from how they like to play. But I'll tell you what, every time DJ Burns touched the ball, they made him extremely uncomfortable getting particularly it was hands in the face to where he couldn't see. I think Tony Bennett realizes how good of a passer. And I think honestly, most of the AC coaches realize that when they watch the film. So they are trying to cut off his line of sight and crowd him. So he has to get rid of the ball. And if he, comes in on them, then he's going to basically be committing a foul or whatnot. And I think that's another team strategy is to get DJ Burns in foul trouble really early. You kind of saw that a little bit with Boston College too. But with Boston College is a totally different level of competition right now. And just even then though, getting a 30-point win on the road is big time. And
especially after a loss.
And first time since 2012, we've beat an AC opponent by more than 30 points or 30 points or more. So
So the UVA game, disappointment. In fact, when it got to 40-20, I thought, whoa, we're going to get blown out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel. I think in my mind, my heart, I saw that score. It makes me feel a little bit like it's a blowout, but it was like it really wasn't. They came back and kept fighting. Terquavian had so much volume there. I thought Casey played great that game. I think Casey is quite. I don't think Casey gets anywhere enough credit, guys. But
he doesn't.
He's huge for this team. And with Boston College, I know we probably talked about it a little bit. And I can let Greg get more into it, but it was really nice to see Jack Clark back. And he only played 9 minutes, but 6 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist.
Mm-hmm.
That's really efficient. And I thought that's really big for State because he's that guy who's like a long guard who can get in the corner and shoot up and defend at multiple positions. He's a big time returnee for NC State coming off the bench, and maybe he can work himself back into the starting lineup like he was at the beginning of the season. But it's just really good for State. I think it's a good sign. That was a good game to get him work back in. So yeah, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, for the UVA, a couple of just things. I was there in person. I will say that first off, at least the student section, there were some others in the crowd, completely disrespectful to Casey Morsell.
100.
With the things that were coming out of their mouths, it would make a sailor blush. It was downright disrespectful. Look, the kid transferred out. He let it go. Like honestly, I can't think of a time where we've done that to one of our own coming back. At least I wouldn't be part of it, and I think our student section would be better than that. Now, if it was a kid that transferred to Carolina, I think all bets would be off. But
fair game. That's the case.
But it was bad. So that was number one. But I will say on the flip side of that, Tony Bennett was very classful, going over to Casey's parents after the game and just kind of shaking their hands and having a word with them. So I thought on the opposite spectrum, that was awesome to see. As far as the game goes, I just thought that they had the perfect answer for everything that we wanted to try to do. We kind of talked about on the stream last week before the game that UVA is probably the best post defensive team in the country as far as doubling down on your low guy. As much as I love DJ, he's not a true center, and so if we had a way to be able to put him at the 4 and make him even more effective, that would really help him. But every time he tried to do something, they frustrated the living darn out of him. He committed some silly fouls. He had a delay of game. You could just tell that everything they did. And one of them I thought was questionable. Like he stepped through a double team and he ended up getting called. I'm like, that shouldn't have been on us. Now UVA does what UVA does. They do their hand checking. They frustrate you. I thought there was times where we should have drove the ball with Joyner and T, and we settled for jump shots, especially in the first half. If you drive the ball, maybe get them in some foul trouble, get to the line. I think we only had like 3 free throws in the first half of that game. We struggled against their bigs. We kept fouling. First off, the number 21 for UVA, how did we let him get out of North Carolina, the kid from Holly Springs? Holy crap. Like, that dude should be on our team. Like,
right.
I forget who he is.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. And I'm sorry.
I'll look it up. You keep going.
Yeah. He was like his first game. He was just destroying us.
Caden Shedrick from Holly Springs.
Yes, what I'm saying. Like, how did we let that guy get out of North Carolina? What did he end up with?
They had a guy last year or 2 years ago from Cary from Panther Creek Lane that was on UVA's team and transferred out of UVA to UNC. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, they get guys from North Carolina all the
You're
time.
talking about McCoy.
Yeah, Justin.
What did that guy number 21 have? He must have had like 15, 16 points against us.
He had 10 points and 6
rebounds. It felt like more than that.
Yeah, he was all over the court.
Yeah, he was a problem for our guys all night. And that was the thing that we have a trouble with is, true bigs. I think Gant does a great job of doing what he can do, but DJ doesn't do good against like true physical guys like that. He doesn't jump with them. And so, and sometimes DJ's feet get a little lazy, and that was kind of what gets him in trouble. But I thought we played much better in the second half. It was just too big of a mountain to overcome. I mean, we made a run. I think we got it down to like 6 or 9. And then we just kind of lost it from there. But we got a great win on Saturday. Shooting 50%, by the way, from 3-point land. Like, one was like 15 to 30 and shooting 56% overall for the game. So that's some efficiency. I think our efficiency for that game was 1.3 points per possession. Like, that's like, I'll take that every day, twice on Sunday, especially against the Heels.
For sure. Yeah. Now, one thing which I did want to talk about, as we kind of move into Boston College is Mahorchik, how Keats came out on Instagram and or sorry, not on Instagram, but there was a clip that we saw on Instagram that Macon shared where Keats kind of talked about, Mahorchik and said there's a possibility he might not come back this season. And to me, here's my thing. So we've heard from a resource that or from talks who talked to Mahorchik directly that Mahorchik plans to be back before the UNC game. Plans to, I can't remember the exact word, but my kind of thing, and this is not, I'm not trying to come at this kind of selfishly, but I guess what I'm kind of getting at is, I mean, he's from Serbia, a 5th senior. I think he's played 5 years. So he's a 5-year COVID senior, maybe whatever. And so in my opinion, it's like, if he can come back with how good this team has been, with how good this team is, and also too with the fact that, I mean, next year we're going to lose T, and it's just like, I feel like, being from Serbia, that's like, listen, if you can't come back, as you would be a huge help, and I think you could really help us, in terms of going far this, for the rest of the season. And then if things work out for you at the G League level or NBA level, great. If not, then I mean, I'm sure he probably wouldn't be too upset with going and playing in Europe, since he's from that area in the first place. But that's just kind of where my head's at, because there's talks of like, well, if he doesn't play, then he should, file for a medical red shirt. But I'm just like, I mean, I don't know. What do y'all think on that?
So real quick, and take this for what you want. I heard from a friend of mine that he'd heard that that Mahorchik had a setback last week.
Really?
Yeah. Again, take it for what you want to take it. I believe this guy. He's got some connections into the program. But I hope it's not true. Again, there's always rumors flying out there. And kind of Keats talked about it a little bit today. Like, it was the same knee he injured last year, and he's just kind of had some harder problems getting it back in game shape. Look, what was he averaging? Like 8-point-something points a game and like 7 or 8 rebounds a game. Let me see.
It was mostly his defense and rebounding that I think we missed the most.
Yeah,
he averaged 8.7 points a game and 6.6 rebounds a game.
So 8 and 7. And Macon, you mentioned it a couple weeks ago. That's 5 more potential fouls that you have. And that's a point where, like, if DJ gets that early foul, you can go sit him for 4 or 5 minutes, and he doesn't get that second foul maybe until the last couple of minutes of the half instead of at the halfway point, like he did at UVA and kind of at Boston College again, because DJ was on track to have another 25-point game on Saturday. He had 10 and 7 in less than 10 minutes of action against Boston College. So just to be able to kind of spell and space out some of those fouls, and then you can keep DJ fresh, and it just adds more level of complexity and depth to the team, and it makes it harder to defend against.
Agreed. Yeah. So again, complete speculation. We don't know, but that's just, that's definitely going to be a big thing. Well, because especially too, like, for example, for UNC, I would feel much more confident if I have Burns and Mahorchik and EB to deal with Baycott than if I just have and Jack Clark, than if I just had EB, Jack Clark, and DJ, because Mahorchik definitely is more of that, speed, but also strength guy that can deal with a guy like Baycott. That's kind of similar in terms of gameplay. So again, just fingers crossed on that.
Sizes are very similar too.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, definitely got to give a shout out here. And I guess what we'll actually do is we'll kind of go ahead and transition over to Tweets of the Week, and that'll kind of lead us into the Boston College conversation heading into this weekend a little bit as well. So let's go ahead and jump on over that. Got to get started off here, giving a huge shout out to our guy Jaquavian Smith for getting to 1,000 points. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, is the 56th or 53rd
56
player in program history to get to that mark. And again, he's only been playing for a season and a half, give or take, a season 3/4, however you want to look at it. 3/4, and to reach that mark so quickly, I think is incredible, to say the least. And then this tweet right here from Corey Smith saying, in the last 15 years, no ACC player has scored more than 1,000 points in less than 60 games until Jaquavian Smith. It's pretty fitting that Baby T, who we call Big T, is the first to do it since Psycho T as a sophomore. And again, just got to give a huge shout out, man. Like Jaquavian Smith, I think, besides like names like Derek Wittenberg, besides like TJ Warren, that Jaquavian Smith is up there for one of the most fan-loved players in program history, in my opinion, just for the fact that, he plays his heart out for NC State, man. And I think when he goes out this season, like, it's going to be so clear, like, yeah, T, you need to go pro. You're going to be a lottery pick. You need to go. But I guarantee you that it's not, that for him, it's not going to be, all right, y'all, I'm out of here. See ya. Like, it's going to be, I would bet money he's going to like be like,
he loves NC State.
Should I come back? Like, should I? Like, no. Like, we're good. All of us are going to look at him and go, no, T, you go pro, bro. Go get your money. You've done your job. So, got to give a shout there. Macon, Greg, go ahead, man.
Real quick, he just hit 1,000. I think he's like 1,010 or something like that now. But if he were to stay for all 4 years, there's no doubt he'd be top 3 all-time scoring. Assuming that he's assuming he's healthy.
I think he would be. He might be out there number 1. He's
2,551. It'd be close. It would be close. It would depend on how
he might be. I mean, like it's the other stat that they're putting out that he's top 10 now all time in 3 points made.
Oh, probably,
with that. So I just thought, I know people would think Scott Wood and Rodney Monroe, the 2 names that come to mind for best 3-point shooter, but and I think Jaquavian takes more shots. His volume is greater, so that's a little bit of he skews him and he kind of takes away from him. But he's one of the greatest 3-point shooters we've ever had.
Yeah, to your point, Making, it's because of the style of ball they play now, right? Because that's because of the whole Golden State 3 for 3 is greater than 2. So
yeah, and I even think Scott Wood's maybe more impressive because Scott Wood didn't get as many touches and he just was nailing them every time. Yeah. So, but he is one of your best shooters, at least by volume we've ever had. And if you look at the stat, like he's like 10, the guy next to him right above at 9 has like played 110 games, something like that, 12 games, and he's like Ravens at 58 or 60. And it was like he's already on the top 10 list, and he's played half as many games as everybody else on that list, which is crazy. So
Yep. Now, one thing which I do want to say, one infinite hate. You have a lot of good comments here, and we will get to those here once we finish up this conversation. So I just want to make it clear that you got some great comments here that we'll get to, but it's not men's basketball related. So anyway, go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, real quick. You're talking about, and I have some stats here. And as good as T is, he's not top 10 in like a season or a single game in scoring, which is insane. But he's just consistent, right? He's consistently going to give you 20 to 25. Right. But I'm just saying that he's not, especially this year. Like, I feel like this year he's doing such a great job of spreading the ball around. I think he was like 5th or 6th in the league in assist. I think last time I saw that last year, if you had to repeat last year, I think you would see his numbers even greater. But because we have a much better surrounding cast, he doesn't have to go out and do what he thought he had to do last year. And so
it's not all on his shoulders.
Right. And some of the stats won't speak to that, but some of his areas have greatly improved, rebounds and assists being that.
And listen, I mean, like, I know that Big T's, right there in the hunt for some postseason awards. And honestly, I'm looking at that UNC game this weekend going, that could be your moment. Like, if like everybody talks about like a Heisman moment, that could be the game where he goes against a lot of really good guards that UNC has. And if he could light it up against those guards, that's like, yep, that guy deserves every postseason award.
Yeah,
but it's apples to oranges. But he's going against Baycock in a way, right? Because he's the other player of the year candidate, and I know they play 2 different positions. But if T goes out and has a 30-35 point game, Baycott only gets 15, maybe even 20, and we win by 10 or 15, that's when people start taking notice and take stock. It's like, okay, maybe they have something there. And so, to your point, I think this is somewhere where he can definitely elevate his status.
Well, and another thing too is I feel like that if Baycott and T are close in terms of stats and kind of how they're looked at, more than likely, assuming if everything works out as we expect, that State will finish 2 or 3 ACC wins ahead of UNC. To me, I feel like that's got to be a tiebreaker. Like, how can you say that somebody is ACC Player of the Year, but they're 2 or 3 games less? But again, apples to oranges.
You already know the answer to that.
Yeah,
again, because it's UNC. I know.
Right. You would think that logic says maybe that would lean that way.
Just throwing it out there. Yeah,
but I can tell you what logic also says, that is a track record, and that isn't going to happen.
I mean, different sport, but you have Caitlin Tuohy who's breaking records, and the ACC network covers Carolina basketball. Like,
right.
And again, I know track isn't as sexy as basketball, but you're breaking records, and you're more focused on Carolina. So that tells you all you need to know.
Well, and quick answer here, but would y'all say that this year has hurt or helped Baycott's draft stock?
Hurt.
Just quick.
Well,
answer.
you gotta look at his time year over year.
I mean, his numbers have been good. I don't think it's hurt.
I think it's neutral. I think he's more.
Yeah, I don't think he's gone up. I don't think he's gotten better.
I don't think he's as like in your
face.
He
hasn't stood out as much as he did last year.
He's got double doubles. Do I think Baycott's a pro? I think he's a bench player. I don't think he's. I gotta look at the stats year over year to really know. I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah, actually, I have it right here. I was actually looking at our game against them.
So his field goal percentage his best field goal percentage year was 2 years ago. He's averaging about the same thing he did last year. You could argue that he's averaging 1.3 points per game more than he did last year. He's playing about the same. He's basically putting up the same performance he did last year. And down to the steals, fouls, turnovers.
Blocks are a little less.
Yeah, free throw percentage is identical. Last year he looks like he has 12.5% at 3-point percentage. This year he has 0. But
it's the same. Like, he hasn't elevated, but then in the same token, has the other players in college basketball passed him, right? So that's the other thing that you have to look like because that's part of like when you go into the draft, like especially like in other sports, just like especially at quarterback, who am I competing against at my position? And so I don't know enough about the other players. I don't really follow a lot of other teams.
I'm going to actually say he's slightly underperforming what we did last year.
I would agree with that.
And again, why I say that he's 2 rebounds per game less than we did last year.
Yep, and almost a full block less.
Well, and two, on top of it too, again, I truly do think that
more
publicity plays a big piece. And again, last year he was a huge reason why UNC went as far as they did in the tournament. Simple as that, because nobody could foul him out. If they fouled him out, UNC would have lost one of those games. But Baylor did not foul Baycott out, so they lost. And I truly say that. So, but anyway, we'll move on from Baycott. So, so want to kind of get to One Infinite, has comments in here. I'm planning on coming to UNC this Friday for the wrestling match and maybe bring a 3x5 foot Wolfpack flag. Love that. Hope we could pack it red. I looked it up on Go Heels, and there's a free admission to wrestling matches at UNC. So, so no charge for the wrestling match on Friday, which I think speaks
volumes. Yeah,
speaks volumes.
It does.
So, right there. And then one of else is I saw you guys did a show on NC State women's tennis. I haven't listened yet, but plan to. I've been following the women's team closely for the past 3 years. This year could be very special. And I mean, and to me, I think that says a lot because of the fact that the last 2 years we've gone to the Final Four. And I mean, to say that this year is special, it's like, wasn't the last 2 years special? But I completely agree with what you're saying that this season could be national title.
Diana Schneider is the real deal.
Yeah, Diana Schneider is
I watched her
the real deal.
I watched her against Tennessee, and she lost the first set to a woman that was actually from Latvia, and which was kind of interesting.
Not Latvia.
Yeah, Latvia.
Latvia.
And she lost like 6-3 in the first set, and then just came back and crushed her in the last 2 sets. Like just broke the woman's spirit, and it was amazing. So
it was amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, if you get a chance, I mean, she's one of the top 100 players in the world, not in college, in the world. And it's free to go see that. So
make sure you go do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then One Infinite, we did cover Caitlin Tui. That was one of the first things we covered, actually. So definitely Caitlin Tui is the GOAT. So got to give a shout to swimming and diving starts their ACC tournament this week. So actually today, they start and they go throughout the rest of this week. So definitely hoping the Braden Holloway and co brings it home this week. And then tomorrow, we'll go ahead and say that tomorrow we're going to be doing a watch party for the Syracuse game. So make sure to stay tuned for that. We will be tuning in. We'll probably go live, 10 to 15, 5, 10, 15 minutes early, something like that before the game. So just make sure if you don't want to miss out on that, hit that subscribe button right now. Hit that notification bell, which is free to do. So that way you're actually notified whenever we do go live. You do not miss out on that. And then also too, our next tweet of the week, got to give a shout out. This was posted on Friday, but I more said this just because first of all, I love the picture. For those who are listening right now, it's basically Pac-9 announcing this past Friday that we are 1 week away. So now we are less than 1 week away until opening day. But first of all, I mean, for those who are watching it, I love this picture. Like, the Avon with glasses and, it's cool, man. I'm looking forward to the season. And so, spoiler alert, I know we put something out there, but obviously we'll be coming out with our Pac-9 preview tomorrow and Wednesday. So make sure to stay tuned for that. As again, we have Justin Cook and Kent Kleiman, who came on with Greg and I to preview this team this year, which is going to be awesome. Make sure to stay tuned for that. And then the One Infinite says, don't knock women's tennis until you go to a match. Completely
no, it's good. I enjoyed it.
It's good stuff. So, but their season
just
starts,
long. Like
they're long,
I
but
was
it's
there
good.
2.5 hours, and they were just starting
done
the second.
Yet.
Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
Oh, my butt's sore on these metal bleachers. I'm not as spring as I used to be. So it was already over, and I had to roll. So
yeah. But so let's kind of talk a little bit about this weekend too. Obviously, got baseball starting on Friday, 3 p.m. against Wagner. And then you got wrestling at 7 p.m. on Friday against UNC. What else? Gymnastics is also at Reynolds on Friday night too. Softball has the AC Big Ten Challenge this weekend, all the whole weekend.
And then you already said wrestling on Friday night.
Yep, and then Saturday, Sunday, more baseball against Wagner. But on top of it too, obviously the Hurricanes outdoor game, which I got a tweet of the week for that.
Gosh, that looks so good.
Yeah, awesome. So this tweet from Chip Alexander today, and like seeing like the Zamboni is actually, preparing the ice rink right now. It's That is the craziest thing right there, seeing an ice rink in the middle of Carter Finley Stadium. That is crazy to see.
That's gonna be awesome. I'm not a Hurricanes fan, but I'm pretty jacked about this. So
yeah.
They did did you see the picture that they did to say like what it
the rendering
like?
Yeah, I think you post that somewhere?
Yeah, I retweeted
Alexander.
I think. Yeah.
No, Macon posted something about the rendering. It looks pretty cool.
It looks
cool.
really nice.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
It's gonna turn Greg into a Canes fan.
No, it's not. but thanks for playing along.
How dare you?
That's blasphemy, woman. Blasphemy. No, I got my ice pack jersey. I got my black and red ice pack jersey I'll be sporting. So that's about as close as King colors as you'll see me in. So I'm just here for the sports game and hope everyone has a good time.
Yeah. So again, we got that Saturday.
Greg's ready for the slumber party with him, his wife, and me and Hannah.
Yeah.
On Saturday night.
And then anything else we're missing Friday and Saturday? Anything else we're missing?
Feel like that is it. Women's basketball on Thursday.
Women's basketball Thursday against UNC.
And then, of course, men's basketball on Sunday. I don't think we mentioned that yet.
Well, yeah, I was kind of taking it day by day.
And then you have UNC at 8:00.
Yeah,
and I'm trying to go through my schedule here. Nothing on yet.
And then Sunday
is a doubleheader for State.
Yeah. So men's basketball 1 p.m. And then women's basketball at Virginia Tech at 4 p.m.
Yep.
So, and then on top of that, Monday. Ice Pack, Frozen Finley, baby. Ice Pack versus UNC. It's free, y'all. Again, it is literally free to go watch a hockey game on the ice in Carter Finley. And on top of that, you're going to see NC State versus UNC, which has been a great matchup so far this season. Been like 1 or 2 goal differentials all 4 times they've played this season. And on top of it, you get to see Ice Pack sporting the brand new Frozen Finley jerseys and uniforms, which are so sick.
I got that one. That's awesome.
And on top of it, too, again, we're spilling all the beans right now because this is going to be a crazy week. Well, there's a lot of Tuffy Talk content coming because, again, we got our watch party tomorrow night. We're also going to be releasing our Pac-9 preview tomorrow and Wednesday. And on top of it, too, we actually interviewed the Ice Pack team captain, Victor Hugo. And those episodes will be coming out this weekend, probably Friday and Saturday. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Again, we basically recap the season. We preview the huge game, the huge Frozen Finley game, talk about, national tournament hopes for this team as well. So make sure to not miss out on any of this content. Again, make sure you don't do that. Subscribe, notification bell, you know the drill. So moving on here, one thing we got to give a shout out to Mr. Joe Tooney again. Yeah, and again, keep in mind that I'm not saying Tuffy's tweets of the week, saying that this is
no big deal.
Of the week, but I first of all, I mostly did because I love that picture. It's such a great picture watching, seeing Joe Tooney, and again, I mean, 3-time Super Bowl champion now, and the only Pac Pro to ever win 3 Super Bowls, which is incredible.
To do it with 2 different teams.
Absolutely, that too. So now it's kind of funny that he played offensive line for 2 of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. So I mean that probably helps.
Sounds like smart planning, if you ask me.
Sounds like smart planning. Absolutely, I agree with that. So so I mean, got to give a shout out to Joe Tooney. Just awesome to see his success. And again, a guy that came wasn't highly recruited, played every single offensive line spot while he was at NC State. And I mean, he's been killing it in the NFL. And I mean, I don't see him stopping anytime soon either. I mean, so are we seeing a guy heading for a potential, Hall of Fame bid career? Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
so
maybe.
He could be.
He's on the right track. So
he's on the right track.
There was another connection there. Gosh darn it. Another former state player who's a coach now in Kansas City. David Merritt, is that right? I'll find it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure.
Yeah, continue on.
Okay. So, but
Andy Reid.
Yeah, Andy Reid.
Right?
Yeah.
Andy Reid.
No, but y'all. What a game for sure. Again, it was awesome. The Super Bowl yesterday was definitely one of the all-time greats for sure. Just a back and forth of 2 really good teams last night for sure. So I'm sure everybody enjoyed that. I'm sure everybody got caught like I did during that Tubi, Apple TV commercial thing. That
Buffalo Wild Wings went insane.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Really?
The whole place was like, chill.
Oh, that's
Like
hilarious.
screaming at
Oh my God, that's great. I mean, so it is sad though. I feel like there isn't really as many funny Super Bowl commercials anymore like there used to be. But that one was definitely memorable.
They tried too hard.
So I know they tried too hard, and but so again, all right. So just to recap, y'all. So again, huge weekend coming up for NC State sports. I mean, I would say if you're a Hurricanes and NC State fan, I mean, this might be one of the biggest weekends that you've had or we've had in a long time. I mean, I couldn't imagine a more crazy lineup than, again, women's basketball Thursday, wrestling Friday, Saturday you got the outdoor games, Sunday you got men's basketball, Monday you got Ice Pack at Frozen Finley. I mean, I feel like you would have a hard time trying to convince me that there's been a bigger weekend for a fan of both of those than this weekend. So
also in men's basketball news, I don't know, I kind of posted it, but they now have NIL jerseys. If you want your favorite basketball player, they are now selling them.
Nice.
Yeah. So if anyone that's been wanting that DJ Burns jersey,
they're gonna be repping those so bad on Sunday.
So the kicker was, it's through the bookstore, and I got the email this morning, and they said allow up to 6 weeks, and I'm like, bro, the season's gonna be over in 6 weeks.
Right?
They said like due to demand and all of that, which I mean I could kind of see. So I'm not getting one. I did get a Traquavion Smith jersey, and it's coming from China as we speak. So it might come with the side of COVID. I'm not sure, but we'll see.
You're gonna have the jersey. You'll wear it while you have it.
I'll wear
You didn't hear, Greg? COVID just doesn't happen anymore, right?
No, it doesn't. It just went away. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. So we get disclaimed by YouTube.
and other kind of funny news. So I mean, it's not over yet, but Miami's pretty much locked up UNC. So
yeah, they got it down to 4, but then
Miami, took over.
The better team took over.
The better team took over. I agree.
But Carolina is shooting free throws, so they're gonna get the last laugh.
Are the Carolina fans saying refs suck? Is that still a thing right now?
Probably. They're losing, so yeah.
Are the Carolina fans doing okay right now? Can we just make sure they're all doing all right?
But the crazy thing though is that's gonna bump UNC to 9th. That's gonna bump UNC 9th, so out of the top 8 in the ACC.
But it's a quad 1 loss, though, right? So they're good.
Yeah, right.
That's
exactly.
Stupid.
No. Again, it's crazy. This I'm telling you, this might be one of the weirdest ACC basketball years.
It's so bad. Did you guys see the whole thing about Oral Roberts?
No, what?
Oh yeah, they have like 4 right now, don't they? Like 4.
Like Oral Roberts. Because they went to Houston earlier in the season and got beat by like 50 points, they have like a great net because of that loss. They haven't beat anyone in the top 150, and I think they're like top 40 in the net. It's insane.
Hey, Greg,
a mid-major. Go ahead, yeah.
I'm going to look at that Bartorvik thing. It says to root for Miami over UNC.
For the NCAA.
Are you talking about for ACC?
ACC.
Okay.
I was talking ACC.
I got you.
Well, because again, I feel like at this point, I mean, again, we're sitting 20-6, and I mean, I feel like if you can find 2 more wins, 22 wins, that should get you in. But
look, we talked about Clemson last week, man. Like,
I know. But again, we're undefeated against Q3, Q4, which I think, is I mean, does say something that Clemson doesn't have. Clemson's lost 2 under 500 teams. So
there's no respect for the ACC right now.
Can I ask you guys, how do you think the rest of the season's going to play out? Let me tell us last time. I'll ask it again.
Yeah, we can update that, right?
Yeah. Now that we got 2 games less. So.
I kind of
it should be our Monday feature.
You go ahead. I'm going to see what you guys think.
Well,
all right.
Okay.
So you have the schedule. So we have Syracuse. And then we have Carolina, and then we have Wake, and then we have Duke. Am I missing anything?
And
Clemson.
Yeah.
You have 5 games left. Your road games are Syracuse and Duke. Your home games are UNC, Wake Forest.
That's right. We have 3 in a row after tomorrow. So it goes Syracuse, Carolina, Wake, Clemson,
Duke.
All right. So that matters. So we have 2 roads and 3 home.
I mean, I think 4-1's not out of the
4-1.
question.
And I'm gonna tell you right now
I think
that
I think the only team we lose to is Duke. At Duke.
Yeah.
But I think that's
No
that's
worse
that's
than
a
3-2.
winnable game.
No worse than 3-2. You could go 4-1. But the only team we've lost to is Carolina. Obviously this is our first matchup against Syracuse.
Why am I being negative now? We're going 5-0.
Yeah. Well, again,
I feel you have to go. I feel like you have to go 4-1, at least 4-1 to get a double bye.
So let me ask you this: Who's going to finish in first place, Virginia or Pitt?
Virginia.
I don't know because
I know Pitt's
both
got an easy
teams-
one.
Yeah, they both
that's
have
right.
cupcake schedules the rest of the way. Virginia's got to play Louisville twice. They have to play Boston College.
Did they pay Pitt at all? Is there a head-to-head still?
No. They got to play Notre Dame, who's not really doing good, and a UNC team that's kind of struggling.
Is this Pitt you're talking about or UVA?
This is UVA. Now you go to Pitt. It's like Boston College, Georgia Tech, Florida State. I mean, it's like
it's Boston
feeder.
College, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, and Syracuse. So 4 lower half teams in the ACC.
So to me, I think it's I
be
think
close.
it's probably I kind of think UVA is going to finish first and then Pitt.
I think UVA technically has the tougher road because they have Clemson and Carolina.
Well, because the tiebreaker is overall, right? Is overall
it's
record.
head-to-head.
Yeah,
It's head-to-head. Okay.
Clemson. All right, you said UVA. Yeah, let me go look here. I'm trying to look at the schedule. So Clemson, Virginia has to go play. They get Clemson at home. They get Louisville at home and Notre Dame at home. So they got to play on the road at Louisville, Boston College, and UNC.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the toughest matchup there is obviously UNC on the road.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely going to be a fight to get that one of those top 4s for sure. At least looking at the schedules here.
And honestly, Miami has an easy path. They only have 3 games left. They're at home against Wade.
Miami has 3 games left.
Yeah.
They play at home against Wake, but then they go to Virginia Tech and then they host Florida State. Which I don't think anybody wants to play Florida State right now.
VT has shown they can play. They're just they're an inconsistent team.
Home.
Yeah. Miami's got a little bit of a stretch there that's going to not be easy.
It's not hard, but it's not easy.
I think they go 2-2.
Who?
Miami.
They can't go 2-2. They only have 3.
They only have 3 games left.
That's not what I see. I see Wake Forest, Virginia Tech.
Oh yeah, there's one in March. Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah. Look at that.
Why is it not on this?
And they play Pitt, so they have to play Pitt.
ESPN, you suck. There's only 3 games.
Hey,
we got to go over to March.
I'm going to advertise.
You have to slide over to March, Greg.
Advertise the score app, man.
You do it to me every time.
It's a great app. Yeah. Miami has now beaten UNC. So
there you go. So now I'm back in favor of Virginia now because Pitt, Miami. That's not going to be an easy game.
No.
And
where's that one at?
It's going to be Florida State and Miami.
Is it at Pitt or is it at?
It's at Miami.
Wait. You're asking me about the
Pitt, Miami.
Pitt, UVA. Or
Pitt, UVA.
Pitt, Miami.
It's at Miami.
Pitt, Miami. It's at Miami.
Miami's at Miami. It's at Miami.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say
it's
right
at
now.
Miami. It's at Miami.
Layton has spoken. It's at Miami.
I promise.
So if we're going there, then I'm gonna take UVA. I still like our chances to get a double bye. I think either Miami or Clemson.
Yeah, they do. State have a really tough schedule.
Yeah, they do. I think out of everyone competing for a top 4, because I don't think who's behind us can. I guess everyone technically.
The back of road schools are, and we got to play all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So to me, give me your. We've been talking about this wrong. Give me your top 5 seeds, AC tournament time.
All right.
Man, Wake's
so we can close out. We can close out the show with this. This is fun.
We got one more thing, but yes, pretty much it's going to be the highlight.
Wake is only a game behind us. I didn't realize how close they were. I've been kind of sleeping on them.
Yeah. No.
I'm glad they come to.
Who do they have left? They have Wake Forest has Miami State, Notre Dame, Boston College, Syracuse. So they have to go play on the road 3 of the 5.
So I see them going 2 and 3.
All right, so I'll give you my 5. All right, I'll give you my 5. And again, this is just off the top of my head because again, it definitely kind of you have to look at each of the schedules and everything. So I'm just going to go from what I've seen. Here's my thoughts. I'm going to say Pitt, UVA, Miami State, Clemson.
Okay.
And then
Okay,
Wake.
I'll give you mine.
Okay.
Good.
UVA, Pitt, Miami, State, Wake Forest, Clemson.
And
Wait, say that one more
that's
time. UVA, Pitt.
UVA, Pitt, Miami,
Miami,
State,
State,
Wake,
and
Clemson.
Clemson.
So
who
why
has-
Clemson over? Why Wake over Clemson?
Because Clemson is going in the wrong direction.
Yeah,
Mhm.
they are. So they got to play. Just to recap,
They
to
have an
play-
easy. They don't have a horrible schedule.
They have 6 games left, not
Mhm.
5 or 4. So they got to play
Yeah.
Florida State.
Yep.
Should be at home. Should be a win, but you
Yep.
never know.
But Florida State's
game-
going to come in tough because they barely
Louisville's-
lost one.
Louisville on the road. That still should be a win.
Yep.
Syracuse
Should
at
be.
home.
Should be.
A win. State on the road. That's going to be their second toughest matchup. They got to go at UVA.
Yep.
And Notre Dame at home. So I'm looking at probably 3-3.
Best
Yeah.
case scenario.
3-3, and that would put them at 3-3 would put them in conference. That would put them at 13-7, and Wake would be. What do you think Wake's schedule is going to be?
Well, Wake, so they play at Miami, which
Mhm.
I think that I put that as a loss in my head. I think between NC State and Miami,
Loss.
1-1 or 1-1 at best. 1-1 at best. Notre Dame win, Boston College win, Syracuse. I think.
I could see them
Oh.
going
I see 4-1.
4-1. Right.
Yeah, 4-1. I think 4-1.
So you think Wake's going to go 4-1, and they'll finish? Let's see. In conference, they will finish 13.
That would give them 13-7. What do they do to Clemson?
It'd be head to head.
It'd be head to head.
I think they lost.
Who has a tiebreaker?
I think they beat Clemson, didn't they, earlier?
I think they did too.
They did beat Clemson.
Yeah, they did at Wake. So
It would be Wake over Clemson then,
Wow. There you go.
right? Or whatever. Would it
Well, no.
be that or the
Hey,
overall?
it's
record?
tied. Clemson also beat Wake Forest at Clemson. So
Oh.
it's tied.
What's the overall record then? Would be so you'd make it
I don't know then.
3-3 or 3-3 for
For this
Clemson.
argument,
21
I make them
10,
both 13-7. How about
4-1.
that?
Yeah. Like neck and neck. So it's
would
going to be a heck of a
literally-
finish.
They would literally be if Clemson went 3-3 and Wake went 4-1. They would literally have the same conference record and the same
Head to head.
overall?
Right. Yeah, they would have the same. Yeah,
Same overall.
same overall as well.
Are we flipping
Holy
a coin?
crap.
Are we flipping a coin?
So
Right?
that's
Head to
kind of
toe.
crazy
Rock,
though.
paper,
That
scissors.
it is a legitimate possibility that two teams fighting for a top 4 could have the same AC record, the same head-to-head record, and the same overall record. That's crazy.
Yeah. So, but I think my prediction it'll be Virginia, Pitt, Miami, State, and then. Oh man.
I mean, does Duke sneak back in there?
Who does Duke play? I mean, we haven't asked that question. Duke plays Miami. I mean, sorry.
They got Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, Syracuse, Louisville, Virginia Tech, State, UNC. And Duke's looking a little better, in my opinion, than they have recently. Although they lost that game to Virginia. They should have
Well,
won that game.
and Miami crushed them. So again, like
That's true.
all I'm saying right now, dude, it is a complete toss-up.
I mean, I could see them going 4-2, and that puts them at 12-8.
But again, it depends. Which Duke are we going to see? The one that beat UNC or the one that
Right.
got crushed against Miami?
So let's say they got 6 games left. Let's say they go, okay, I got win against Notre Dame, win against Syracuse, win against Louisville. That's 3-0. Virginia Tech at home, they get Virginia home. I think it's a win. State at home.
Man, our poor listeners right now.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
And Duke at Carolina.
The one team I think it
I
stops
think
at Duke.
Carolina. I mean, I think Duke could go 5-1 the rest
They
of the
could.
way.
Well, again,
And
they could go 5-1. They could go
if
1-5.
they go
Depends which Duke.
5-1, that puts
Right.
them at 13-7, which would again tie them with Wake Forest and Clemson.
The only team
But
it
they would
stops
have-
at
they would-
Duke though.
But if Duke goes 5-1, they would have a 1 game better overall record. So then my guess is going to be Virginia, Pitt, Miami State, Duke, and then
Wow.
Clemson and Wake Forest, Clemson. I think it's gonna be Wake Forest, Clemson because I like Appleby. I like Appleby a lot for Wake Forest. So tires are going to plummet, and it's going to be that. So how is that?
I've been saying this for weeks. The Tigers are going the wrong direction.
ACC basketball.
Again, Duke is just way too inconsistent. That's my thing. And
Yeah.
even I think on Duke's best game, I still don't think they could pull major upsets on Duke's best day.
Yeah, what pulls them through? Like they've got talent, but playing in that environment, but I'm talking about if you're going to play at Duke, like that environment rattle you.
So
like,
they would play if State was the 4th seed. Go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was done. I said, so how many games do they have at home? And like you can almost chalk those up as victories. So
yeah, I'm just ballpark, and now this is the last bit I'll say. I'm just looking ballpark at the tournament now. If State were to finish the 4 seed and Duke was the 5, that would be the 12 and the 13 seed, which at this point would be give me a second, bear with me, pull it up. It would be
our poor listeners.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That'd be Virginia Tech, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame as it is today. That would be the day one on our side of the bracket. Whoever goes to play Duke, and then they play State.
Yeah.
If that were to be what we predicted, at least what I predicted. So
Flip for Profit says Clemson will be a 1 or 2 seed in the NIT.
I would not like being on the same side as Duke, to be honest with you. I would much rather have the Clemson Wake Forest. So I'm going to be pulling for Duke to lose.
Yeah. But again,
it works out because I don't like Duke anyways.
Keep having them drop in the standings.
Duke basketball this year is like a box of chocolates. You have no freaking idea what you're going to get. So, it's all complete speculation.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, this time next weekend, we'll do this again, right? Next Monday, we'll do it again and then actually see.
We need to bake this into the actual schedule of the show a little bit more because this is fun. This is getting really fun because we're actually playing
we need to like come up with a way to do like a visual. We need to like a clipboard or something like that. We can.
I'm starting to get crazy eyes when I look at the schedule now.
That's our listeners like, what are y'all talking about? Yeah,
but it's. I think this is the one thing I'll say this real quick. This is what makes kind of basketball better than football in some regards. Where
I can't believe you just said that.
I know, but
that's why it is. It's why it is.
But I mean, you don't do this in football, like.
Heck no.
Because it's a shorter season.
Heck no,
it's usually pretty much predefined.
What else too? There's just not. There's there's
the parity
more
is not
consistency there. To a sort.
There's more games. It's faster paced. I love it.
But what else too? Again, just also too. Basketball is more younger talent focus. Which if you have younger inexperienced talent, that gives a lot more inconsistency in a way too. But what again? There's not one and dones in football, so
that's because there's a rule. You can't
exactly. Right. So that's what I'm saying. That's my point. But anyway,
okay.
I just think there's more parity. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. No, again, hey, they're both.
There's usually one or two teams in the ACC in football that can compete for a championship, and right now, you've got anyone in the top,
about like the top
7 or 8.
7.
Yeah.
Well, I felt there's a tier break. You go top 2.
Yeah.
Virginia and Pitt, and then on the next 3 through 7, 8 is like
dude, you can make the argument Miami is right there on that top tier too.
Yeah. Now Flipper Profits, I think
they're only a game out of first.
I know. Again, and again, Flipper Profits says it best. AC tournament this year is going to be crazy because shout out to my wife. Shout out to my wife who at the time was giving me major crap about spending, so much money on buying the ACC, all session tickets, and now I'm sitting there going, bro, it's gonna be worth every penny.
That's one of those things you're gonna make your money. Either you're gonna enjoy the games or you're gonna be able to sell them off.
Well, again, it's gonna be such a good tournament this year. It's gonna be probably one of the best tournaments that ACC's had in quite some time. In my opinion, if it goes down as we think, which is that 1 through 8 or even 1 through 9, any of them could pull it off. Honestly,
you say Pitt or Miami's 1 game behind. State is 2 games behind. It's not
I know. It's crazy. The argument I will make against that, Leighton and Michael, he's not on tonight, but you need at least 1 bye. The 2 buys are what really help you. Right. So if you're not getting those buys, 8, 9, it's going to make it really tough. You got to win 5 games in like 4 days or something.
But again, but the only thing which I would say back to that is, again, we've never seen an ACC where it's Virginia and Pitt are definitely in a tier, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's a huge
Pitt's in a tier.
Difference.
Why are we even saying?
I know. Can we talk like literally?
They usually are in a tier that's much lower.
Here's the thing. On the hot seat.
We need to close the show.
We need to close it, but they were
no one asked for my 5.
I know.
Whatever.
I did ask for your 5. You just didn't say it, Mackenzie.
Because no one let me talk.
That's true.
I mean, she's not wrong. She's not wrong.
No
You
one
have
let me
to
talk
cut
for the
through.
past 10 minutes.
Cut through.
She's just so
No.
patient. She's like, whatever.
All right,
have to
Ken. So you got state 1 seed.
True.
Now who's 2, 3, 4,
I'm
5?
kidding. No, I think it'll be Pitt, UVA, Miami State, Duke, Wake, Clemson.
I think it's going to be
Any of that could happen.
Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, Louisville,
Here's
I
the
think
Notre Dame.
next. Let's do this for next week because I think this will be interesting because we were kind of talking about it just a few minutes ago. We need to pull up the preseason rankings and just kind of just see
What's
where
happened.
it's
everybody
because
finished.
right because
I mean, Carolina
Or
was
is-
at 1 by themselves.
right
All
and
by
we
themselves.
were like 10-11 I think if memory serves and
We were like
Pitt was
11,
probably
12.
like 13-14 so like
And Notre Dame was kind of a dark horse, you know.
yeah they were kind of
so-
sexy
They
Yeah.
thought
Syracuse was
Kind of
Louisville was going to be up top
kind of sexy.
top 8.
Yeah. Well, just
yeah
'cause
anyway
Louisville's
but I think that would be
Louisville.
a fun one to pull up at least right before the tournament starts so either next week or
Yeah.
the week after
Top 4,
yeah.
just right off the bat, were UNC, Duke, Virginia, Miami. Florida State's the biggest loser. Or is it UNC? Florida State was 5.
We'll talk
I'll
next
tell you
week.
Now.
Yeah.
come on
talk
let's
next
do it
week.
next week
Yeah,
yeah
do next week. So, but last thing
Good
I want to leave y'all just as we'll see what happens. Is that Diamond Sports Group, operator of Valley Sports Regional Sports Network, reportedly filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy next week.
Thank goodness.
So if this
Wait, that's
happens,
where I watched the Braves. Oh,
well, again,
no.
just
You get to watch the
Yeah, but-
Braves. It won't be
but
Bally
again,
Sports.
Bally
yeah,
Sports
yeah,
is
yeah, it'll
expensive
be on
as
something.
crap.
They're
I
not
like
going
them with
away.
the
They're
Braves. I like
the
them with
channel.
the
Yeah,
Braves.
they're just going to.
The Braves are not going away, Mackenzie.
They are though. We just lost Dansby Swanson, so
Oh,
we
that's-
are going away.
well, again, give me a sports team within like 3 hours of where I live, and then we'll talk. Okay, like come on. So,
Right.
I got a
but
few
anyway,
within
yeah.
45 minutes. It's good.
That must be nice, Greg. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right, y'all. With that being
My
said,
taxes suck.
so we're gonna wrap this up here, y'all. So again, just as a reminder, again, we got a ton of Tuffy Talk content coming out this week. Again, watch party tomorrow night for the Syracuse game. We're doing our Pac-9 previews coming out tomorrow, Wednesday. We got our Ice Pack Frozen Finley games preview coming out Friday and Saturday. So again, to not miss out on any of that crazy content, hit that free subscribe button, hit that free notification bell so you're notified on all of your devices. Whenever we go live with any new NC State content, including watch parties, live streams, new episodes, you name it. So really appreciate that. And if you enjoyed this content, if you wouldn't mind, Megan, I thought I'm trying to finish this, and y'all are interrupting. me trying to finish this.
Tuesday.
Did he say free?
Yeah.
We're gonna give you 2 for Tuesday.
All right. Good
End
to see
it.
y'all. No. All right, y'all. Well, again, appreciate everything, y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in with us. Make sure to give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter and Instagram. But we'll see y'all soon. Hang on through this weekend. It's gonna be a crazy one. But we'll see y'all soon. Go Pack, y'all.